What if the greatest lie you've ever been told isn't about politics, history, or even religion, but about your own body? What if, right now, at this very moment, you possess a healing power so profound, so extraordinary, that modern medicine has spent 3 centuries trying to convince you it doesn't exist? Stay with me here, because what you're about to discover will fundamentally change the way you think about illness, aging, and your body's true capabilities. Think about the last time you went to a doctor with a health concern. The language they used was probably something like fighting the disease, attacking the problem, or battling the infection. We've become so accustomed to this military vocabulary that we never stop to question what it reveals about our deepest assumptions. We've been conditioned to see our bodies as battlefields, as fragile machines slowly breaking down from the moment we're born, as enemies that will inevitably betray us with disease and decay. But here's where it gets fascinating, and I mean truly extraordinary. Modern scientific research is now dismantling centuries of medical dogma, proving something that ancient healing traditions have known for thousands of years. Your body isn't designed to break down, it's designed to heal. Every single organ you possess, yes, including your brain, your heart, your spinal cord, even your pancreas, has an inherent capacity for self-repair and regeneration that most people never learn to access. But before we begin diving deeper into this revelation, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Has this ever happened to you? You get a paper cut, and without any conscious effort on your part, without any medication or intervention, your skin knits itself back together perfectly within days. Or you catch a cold, rest for a few days, and your immune system systematically identifies and eliminates millions of viral invaders until you're completely healthy again. These aren't miracles, they're demonstrations of your body's default operating system. The question we should be asking isn't whether your body can heal. The real question is, what conditions are we creating that prevent it from doing what it was naturally designed to do? Now, here's what makes this discovery even more profound. For 3 centuries, Western science has operated under a fundamental assumption that shapes everything: our healthcare systems, our pharmaceutical approaches, our very understanding of what it means to be human. That assumption is separation. We've been taught that we exist separate from our bodies, as if consciousness is just a passenger in a meat vehicle, separate from each other, with no real energetic connection, separate from nature itself, as if we're somehow above or outside the natural world. What you're about to discover might surprise you, because emerging research is revealing that this entire framework, the foundation upon which modern medicine was built, may be fundamentally backwards. And when you understand why, everything changes. The way you approach illness, the power you realize you actually possess, and the healing potential that's been dormant inside you all along suddenly becomes accessible in ways you never imagined possible. So the question becomes, if we're not actually separate from our bodies, if that entire framework was built on a flawed assumption, then what's really happening when we get sick? And here's where the revelation gets genuinely profound. The beliefs you carry about yourself, the stories you tell yourself every single day about who you are, what you're capable of, whether you're strong or weak, resilient or fragile, these aren't just abstract thoughts floating around in your consciousness. They're instructions. Your cells are listening to every word, every emotion, every unconscious belief you hold about yourself. When you wake up in the morning and think, "I always get sick this time of year," or "My family has a history of heart disease, so it's inevitable for me too," or "I'm just getting older, my body is breaking down," those aren't harmless observations. They're programming. Your biology doesn't distinguish between a belief and a command. It responds to both the same way. The chemistry flooding through your bloodstream right now is a direct reflection of the emotional and mental patterns you've been running, often since childhood. This might sound radical, but think about the impact this has on everything we thought we knew about disease. Your body becomes a mirror, showing you with remarkable precision what you truly believe about yourself at the deepest subconscious level. The physical manifestations we call illness aren't random attacks from an external enemy. They're information, feedback from the most sophisticated biological system ever designed, trying to get your attention about patterns that need transformation. If this resonates with you, hit that subscribe button. I'm building a community of people ready to question old paradigms and step into genuine empowerment. Now, I want to go even deeper into this revelation because understanding the hidden truth behind how nature actually operates changes the entire game. For generations, we've been sold a story about survival of the fittest, nature red in tooth and claw, a brutal battlefield where only the strongest prevail and everyone else gets eliminated. This narrative has shaped not just how we think about biology, but how we structure our economies, our relationships, our entire approach to life. Competition as the default, conflict as inevitable, every person for themselves. But here's what rigorous peer-reviewed scientific research is now confirming: that entire worldview is backwards. When scientists actually observe ecosystems without the bias of their assumptions, what they discover is astonishing. Cooperation, mutual aid, symbiotic relationships. These are the fundamental organizing principles of life itself. Competition exists, yes, but only as a response to specific stressed conditions, scarcity, environmental pressure, temporary survival challenges. It's not the baseline, it's the exception. This transformation in scientific thinking isn't just academic philosophy. It fundamentally changes how we understand healing. If nature's default setting is cooperation, if even our cells are designed to work together in harmony rather than compete for dominance, then the entire paradigm of attacking disease, fighting illness, and waging war on symptoms suddenly seems not just ineffective, but counterproductive. The real journey toward healing involves creating internal conditions where cooperation thrives, where your body's natural regenerative intelligence can do what it was always designed to do. Write in the comments, cooperation, not competition, because embracing this mindset shift is where genuine transformation begins. This brings us to a question that seems simple on the surface, but contains within it the entire mystery of human existence. Who am I? For centuries, science has been trying to answer this by breaking it down into 6 fundamental questions. Where do we come from? What makes humans unique? How do we relate to our own bodies? What's our connection to the world beyond our skin? Is our relationship to the past linear or cyclical? And fundamentally, what is our relationship to nature itself? The answers we've been given shaped everything. Random evolutionary accidents appearing by chance, linear progress from primitive to sophisticated, powerless separation from our bodies, no real influence over the world around us, competition as nature's baseline. Every institution we built, our healthcare systems, our educational models, our economic structures, was constructed on this foundation. But the new discoveries emerging from laboratories around the world are revealing something that challenges every single one of those answers. We're not random flukes who appeared by accident. The evidence shows we're profoundly interconnected at levels we're only beginning to measure. Civilizations rise and fall in cycles, meaning we're part of repeating patterns of human development, not the first advanced society to walk this earth. And nature, as we've already explored, operates on cooperation as its default state. This revelation completely transforms our understanding of healing and our role in it. When you realize you're not separate from your body, but deeply, intimately connected to it. When you understand that your thoughts and emotions are in constant conversation with your cells, suddenly, the whole concept of powerlessness dissolves. You're not a passive victim waiting for your body to betray you. You're an active participant in an ongoing process of regeneration. Now, I want to go even deeper into this revelation because understanding where your power actually resides might completely shift your perspective on healing itself. We've been taught that the brain is the command center, the master controller orchestrating everything in your body. But the hidden truth behind your physiology reveals something far more profound. Your heart, not your brain, is actually sending the primary instructions that determine what chemistry floods through your system at any given moment. Think about the journey your body takes before you're even born. The very first organ that develops in your mother's womb is your heart. Before your brain forms, before any other system comes online, your heart begins to beat. Science still cannot definitively explain what triggers that first heartbeat, that mysterious spark that transforms a collection of cells into a living being. Ancient wisdom traditions have their own answer. They say it's the moment the soul enters the body. Whether you embrace that interpretation or not, something undeniably extraordinary happens in that instant. If this opened your mind to new possibilities, hit that like button. It helps others discover these ideas when they need them most. But here's where the revelation gets even more fascinating. Your heart contains approximately 40,000 specialized cells that function remarkably like brain cells. Yet they exist entirely within your heart. These cells think, they learn, they remember independently of your cranial brain. This isn't poetic language or metaphor. This is measurable biological reality. Your heart has its own intelligence, its own neural network, and it's in constant communication with your brain, sending far more signals upward than your brain sends back down. When you create specific emotions in your heart, gratitude, appreciation, compassion, care, those feelings generate signals that travel to your brain. Your brain then responds by releasing chemistry that mirrors the quality of those emotions. Positive, coherent emotions trigger the release of hormones that strengthen your immune system, activate anti-aging mechanisms, and create the internal environment where true transformation happens. Write in the comments, "My heart leads," because recognizing where your true power center exists is the first step toward consciously shaping your biology. This understanding of your heart's intelligence brings us to something that might challenge the way you've been approaching your health for your entire life. We often focus obsessively on external factors: clean water, fresh air, organic food, the right exercise routine. These matter, absolutely they do. But here's the hidden truth that changes everything. The internal environment you cultivate through your thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs might be even more powerful than any external factor you could control. Think about what happens in your body when you harbor sustained stress, when anger, fear, anxiety, or resentment become your baseline emotional state rather than temporary visitors. Your body responds with remarkable precision. Cortisol and adrenaline flood your system, chemicals that were designed by evolution for brief, intense moments of fight or flight, not for chronic existence. These are emergency hormones meant to help you escape immediate danger, not to course through your veins day after day, week after week, year after year. The impact of this chemical cascade is profound. Unresolved stress weakens your immune system's ability to protect you. It suppresses the hormones that keep you youthful, vital, and energized. It creates the exact internal conditions where disease finds fertile ground to take root and grow. You literally wear your unresolved emotions in your body. They show up in your posture, in the tension you carry in your shoulders, in the lines on your face, in the chronic conditions that mysteriously appear and refuse to heal. This isn't punishment or weakness, it's information. Your body speaking a language most of us were never taught to understand. Now, I want to go even deeper into what this means for your healing journey, because there's a story that perfectly illustrates how powerful this internal environment truly is. During a severe drought, the worst in over a century, a friend witnessed something remarkable. A Native American elder invited him to participate in what he called a prayer for rain. But what happened next revealed a profound understanding about how manifestation and healing actually work at the deepest level. The elder didn't ask for rain. He didn't plead or beg or petition some distant force to bring water. Instead, he closed his eyes and felt the feeling of rain that had already happened. He smelled the scent of rain rolling off the earth. He felt his bare feet in the mud that existed because so much rain had fallen. He gave thanks for the rain as if it were already present, already real, already manifesting in that very moment. Within hours, clouds appeared where there had been none for months. Rain fell continuously, flooding fields and roads in a localized area that defied all weather predictions. This isn't superstition or wishful thinking. It's a fundamental principle about how your consciousness interacts with reality. When you pray for healing, you're actually affirming the absence of health. You're declaring to the universe and to your own cells that you are sick, that wellness doesn't exist in your present moment. But when you feel the feeling of already being healed, when you embody that state with genuine gratitude and appreciation, something shifts at the cellular level. Your body receives completely different instructions. Your cells respond to the reality you're feeling, not the circumstance you're observing. Write in the comments, "I feel it now," because stepping into the experience of healing before it manifests physically is where real transformation begins. The science behind why this works is absolutely stunning, and it reveals something that changes our entire understanding of reality itself. For 100 years, the entire foundation of modern science rested on an experiment conducted in 1887. Two scientists attempted to detect a field that connects all things, an invisible matrix that would explain how consciousness and matter interact. When their equipment failed to find it, they concluded no such field exists. This single failed experiment established 3 centuries of separation-based thinking. Everything we built, our medical model, our understanding of consciousness, our approach to healing, assumed we exist in isolation, that what happens here has no connection to what happens there. But in 1987, exactly 100 years later, the experiment was repeated with better equipment. The result? The field exists. It exists precisely within the parameters those original scientists predicted. Their technology simply wasn't sensitive enough to detect it. Since then, quantum physics has proven through the phenomenon of entanglement that everything remains energetically connected, despite physical separation. When particles are unified, then separated by vast distances, what happens to one instantaneously affects the other. They act as if they're still connected because energetically they are. The impact of this discovery on your healing journey is staggering. If we go back far enough in time, everything, you, me, the earth, the cosmos, was unified. Physically we separated, but energetically we remain connected. This explains how your thoughts and emotions can influence not just your own healing, but reality itself beyond the boundaries of your skin. Your heart generates the strongest electrical and magnetic fields in your entire body, stronger than your brain, stronger than any other organ. This isn't accidental. We live in an electrical and magnetic universe, and your heart is specifically designed to communicate with this field. When you harmonize your heart and brain into what researchers call coherence, a specific frequency of zero point 0.1 hertz, you create optimal conditions for every healing mechanism in your body to activate simultaneously. Now, I want to go even deeper into what this means practically, because your body has been communicating with you all along through a language most of us were never taught to understand. We view illness as something broken that needs fixing, an enemy to be defeated. But what if your body is actually showing you with remarkable precision the beliefs you hold at the deepest subconscious levels? Most of our foundational beliefs about ourselves, about safety, about worthiness, about what's possible, these were encoded before we turned 7 years old. During those early years, our brains exist in what's called a hypnagogic state, essentially an open sponge absorbing everything from our environment without filters or critical thinking. We internalize patterns from caregivers, messages about who we are and what we deserve, and all of this gets stored below the level of conscious awareness. These subconscious beliefs then run like background programs, influencing your decisions, shaping your relationships, and yes, manifesting in your physical body. Every illness becomes a portal rather than a problem. When you develop chronic pain, digestive issues, inflammation, skin conditions, your body isn't betraying you. It's trying to get your attention, pointing you toward an unresolved belief or emotion that needs your awareness and transformation. Write in the comments, "My body speaks, I listen," because this shift from viewing symptoms as enemies to recognizing them as messengers changes everything about your healing journey. If you've made it this far, I genuinely appreciate you taking this journey with me. This isn't surface-level information we've been exploring together. We've gone deep into understanding how your body actually works, how your consciousness shapes your physical reality, and how you can actively participate in your own healing rather than feeling powerless or separate from the process. This is exactly the kind of content I create here, explorations into the hidden mechanisms behind healing, consciousness, and human potential. If this resonates with you, if you want more conversations like this that go beyond the mainstream narrative and actually give you practical wisdom you can apply in your life, hit that subscribe button. I'm building a community of people who are ready to question old paradigms and step into genuine empowerment. And I'd love to have you as part of it. And if this message landed with you, if something clicked or shifted while you were watching, leave a comment saying, "This message was meant for me." I read every single comment, and I love knowing this. Content is reaching the people who need it most. It also helps more people discover these ideas, which is really what this is all about. And hey, if you found value here, a quick like on the video helps tremendously. It's a simple gesture that tells me you want more of this kind of deep, meaningful content, and it helps others who are searching for these answers find their way here too. There's a video right here that complements everything we just explored. It dives even deeper into practical techniques you can use to create that heart-brain coherence we talked about and activate your body's natural healing mechanisms. Click and continue with me over there, because what you've learned today is just the beginning of what's possible when you truly understand your power to heal.